Ya lai la lai lai
Lai, lai, lai. Lai, 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 lai.
Ya lai la lai 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 lai. Ya lai la lai 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 lai.
Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai.
ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירעם הים ומלואו. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירעם הים ומלואו.
Yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my. Yama my 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 my.
ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירעם
הים ומלואו. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירעם הים ומלואו.
Yama my 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 my,
Yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my,
Yama my 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 my,
yama my 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 my, yama my 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 my.
Yama my 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 my, Yama my 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 my, Yama my 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 my.
If some of you will notice, there's a new table here holding our candles. It's a lovely gift from our last two senior classes of 21 and 22. Lanny Livingston, who helped us pick it out, wanted to get a table for us that helped lift the candle straight up, like our prayers up to heaven. And the way it flows, it's as if the candlesticks are part of the table itself. An unbelievable find, and we're very grateful to Lanny and to our last two graduating classes to enable this to happen. As I look at the table right now, I had my prayer book open to pages 2 and 3, which are the prayers that we light the candles with, and I saw Martin Buber's quote down at the bottom of page 3, which reads, "Help me perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself whole so that I may honor your name and create a world of justice and peace." When I think about our prayers and how they are supposed to ascend to heaven, it also reminds me that they're supposed to penetrate our hearts. They're supposed to invoke change. They aren't always meant to pacify us or make us feel relaxed, but to inspire sacred living and sacred action, that it's a two-way street. And the light of our candles, with the imagery of this table, shows that boundary, that those two directions, up to the heavens, but also is dwelling with us here. As we worship this Shabbat, may our prayers inspire us to sacred action, to help transform the world, to help make the world a better place full of justice and peace. May our prayers tonight not just help us find the joy of Shabbat, but also inspire sacred living. When they need to stir us from our complacency, may they stir us. When they need to calm us, may they calm us. But regardless of each, may we be inspired to help put God's love into this world and create a world worthy of God's presence.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Ina Horn, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Anshe Emmeth Memorial Temple. It's wonderful to celebrate Shabbat together, whether you're here in person at our beautiful sanctuary or watching on live stream, Facebook, or YouTube. We are happy that you are part of our community and joining us for worship this evening. Now let us feel the warmth of Shabbat as we invite Anna Bowder to light the Shabbat candles and lead us in the blessings that may be found on pages 2 and 3 in your prayer books. Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, le'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue on pages 20 and 21 for Lecha Dodi.
Lai 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 Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor medibor echad. Ishmianu el hamilchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mikorcha bracha, merosh b'kerem v'sucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tehila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. קרבה אל נפשי גאלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך מילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשכחי ומה תחמי בך יכסו. עניי עמי ונבנתה עיר אל תילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. והיו לי משיסה שוסייך ורחקו, כה מבייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמשוש חתן על כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יד איש. בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה,
We rise neither body or spirit.
נקבלה. אוי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We continue on page 26, Shabbat Shalom, with Chatzi Kaddish.
התקדש ויקדש מרבה,
Amen.
ועמד ירחותי והמליך בהותי,
בחייכון
ויום יכון, ובחיית כל בית ישראל.
בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב.
ואמרו
אמן. יש מרבה מבורך, לעולם ליום ויומיה, יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמר קדושו.
בריחו
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן ביומה, ואמרו
Amen.
אמן.
We rise neither body or our spirit for the Baruch Hu on page 28.
Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai,
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. We continue together on the bottom of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Amen.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot u'kim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot u'kim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shachvenu v'kumenu, b'shachvenu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negeh yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha al tesir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, l'chol vavacha נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווך היום על לבביך, ושנתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא לא עושה, נורא
Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter, in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth, prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
We continue our personal Amidah silently with the words on the page or the words in our hearts through page 63. And when you're ready, you may be seated. In case you missed last week, we've moved to the book of Exodus. We've been in Genesis for a long time, but we're in Exodus now. So we're going to talk about Exodus now. And Exodus, as I'm sure many of you know, is a book like 4 of the books of the Torah that largely revolves around the character of Moses. And this is where we really get to know Moses as a person and as a younger person, though not actually that young. I think he's like 40 or 80 at some points here, so he's not that young, but he's younger than the 120 he'll be. Yeah, he's about 80. He's about 80, but if you're gonna live to 120, 80's not so old. And Moses, as we know, is a reluctant hero, because when God comes to Moses in the burning bush and tells him that he is going to lead the people out of Egypt, Moses says, I can't do that. And the first time he says, I can't do that because I'm kvad peh uchvad lashon, heavy of mouth and heavy of tongue. And the second time he tells God he can't do this, he has to tell God multiple times, and God tells him multiple times that Aaron is going to step in and help him. The second time he calls himself Arel Sfatayim, which means like uncircumcised of lips. It's an image, for sure. And what's interesting, and what's interesting to me about these 2 different ways of saying his mouth doesn't work for talking very well is that one of them emphasizes heaviness and one of them emphasizes excess. And put together, what I read in Moses is a sense that what he's being asked to do is too much for his capabilities. And so we know that Aaron is there to help him. Aaron is there for him to tell Aaron what he needs to say, and Aaron's going to say it for him so that Moses can effectively talk to Pharaoh and to the people Israel. And if you pay attention as we keep reading Torah, Aaron kind of disappears from that role. It seems like eventually, and we don't know when necessarily, Moses starts being able to do this on his own. But at the beginning, it's too much. It's too much for Moses. But what's interesting to me about Aaron's role here is that I'm having trouble imagining a world in which Moses and Aaron knew each other particularly well before Aaron became Moses' mouthpiece. Moses and Aaron were brothers, but Moses was raised in the palace of the Pharaoh. Those of us who are raised away from our siblings tend not to know them particularly well. But when God tells Aaron to go to the wilderness to be with Moses, Aaron's right there. Aaron's right there at the right time. And there are so many other characters in these opening parshiot, these opening portions of the book of Exodus, who are there, who are supporting Moses in ways that are less visible than Aaron's. And so I want to talk about a few of them. And I want us to think with each of these characters, which of these characteristics we have when we're helping others and helping our community, and which of these characteristics we might be able to cultivate in our work caring for others and caring for our community. So Aaron is there when he needs to be. He follows directions from God. If I got direct instruction from God, I would hope that I would follow it, but he does. And he goes and he's in the right place at the right time. But before Aaron, we have 6 different women who all help Moses in specific ways, who may not know that they're helping Moses, but in some way are helping Moses. So the first 2 are Shifra and Puah, the Hebrew midwives. And for those of you who don't know the story of Shifra and Puah that well, these women are very crafty. So what they do is when Pharaoh decrees that all baby boys should be killed by their midwives, they tell Pharaoh, well, they can't do that because these Hebrew women, they just give birth so fast. The midwives can't get there in time to murder the baby boys. They give birth like animals. It's like this. It doesn't tell us that they're lying, but it seems like they're making things up. Shifra and Pua find creative solutions to a problem and do what needs to be done. And I want to be very clear, I'm not advocating for deception as a primary mode of getting what needs to be done. But if we're talking about avoiding the systematic murder of baby boys, seems like the right way to go. But in general, Shifra and Pua, I would say, are creative solution finders. So we've got Aaron, who follows directions, goes to the right place at the right time. Shifra and Pua, who find our creative solutions. Then there's Yocheved, Moses' mother, who makes plans to figure out how to keep Moses alive when the Pharaoh decrees that the baby boy should be put in the river. And her plan is very crafty also, because she puts him in the river, but in a basket, so that he can be found. And so Yocheved, I would say, is the one who makes plans, who helps us care for those we love, that will help us care for those we love. And then there's Miriam, who is part of Yocheved's plot, and she is in the right place at the right time, but she gets everyone in the right place at the right time. She orchestrates having Moses go in the basket right when Pharaoh's daughter is bathing right near Moses, so that he will notice, or that she will notice, that there's a baby there who might need to be saved. And then, when she does find the baby, Miriam walks over to her and says, "Oh, you found a baby? Well, I know a Hebrew wet nurse who is super available to nurse this baby." And that baby is none other than Yocheved, Moses' mother. This is such a feat of stage direction planning. I can't believe it. And I'm good at getting people to be where they need to be, but not like that. So that's Miriam, getting people where they need to be. And then we have Pharaoh's daughter, who the rabbis call Batya. And here we get into our people who keep Moses alive, who aren't Jewish, who aren't Israelite. Batya is Pharaoh's daughter. And at great personal risk, we can assume, brings Moses into the palace to make sure that he stays alive. And so Batya is one who is an ally for justice, even when it's not in her own personal interest. And then there's Zipporah, Moses' wife, who saves Moses from, or Moses' son. The text is extremely unclear. In an extremely bizarre situation of divine anger in the night. And if you're curious about this episode, we can talk about it later. It's extremely bizarre. But she circumcises Moses, or maybe Moses' son, calls him a bridegroom of blood. I told you, it's odd. And saves him when he needs to be saved. So we have Aaron, who's in the right place at the right time, Shifra and Pua, who find creative solutions, Yocheved, who makes plans to care for those that she loves, Miriam, who makes sure other people are in the right place at the right time, Batya, who is an ally for those who are oppressed, and Zipporah, who saves others from danger. When things are too heavy, we can find people who can be these people for us. And when things are too heavy for others, we can be the people who do these things for them. And some of us have more of an aptitude toward one or the other. Some of us are big solution finders, and some of us know how to get people where they need to be when they need to be there. Some of us can follow directions really well and do what needs to be done, and some of us can leap to action when the time is right. And this is how we sustain ourselves and each other and community. And it's not just Moses, it's all of us. Moses here, I think, is symbolic for the people Israel, and that's us. And so I encourage us as we continue our journey through Exodus and watch Moses grow into his own capabilities, to think about how we can help those around us grow into their own capabilities by playing these roles when things are too much, when things are too heavy, when there's excess. How can we do so in a way that's natural to us, that comes to us? And how can we stretch ourselves? How can we try to do one of those things that feels a little out of our depth at the first try, to grow into the leaders that we can be? Shabbat Shalom.
Ruach Elohim, may God's Spirit be with you. Ruach Elohim, keep you safe from harm. May the love of God be your shelter from every storm. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yikonecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom. Ruach Elohim, may God bless you and keep you, bring you to the light and safe from harm. May the love of friends be your shelter from every storm. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yikonecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom. Ruach Elohim, may God's Spirit be with you, bring you to the light and loving arms. Together we will be a shelter from every storm. Together we will be a shelter from every storm. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yikonecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom.
Shabbat Shalom once again. Just a few announcements before we conclude our service. We have a lot of wonderful things happening in the next couple of weeks. Next Saturday is tomorrow, because today is the 20th, so tomorrow is our Women's Spirituality Group's Rosh Chodesh Shabbat event. That's at 10:45 tomorrow here at the synagogue in person. And then on Sunday at 10:30, we're bringing back for our Keepers of Jewish Excellence, Jonathan Chansner. We had him here 5 or 6 years ago. He is the Senior Vice President of Research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. He spoke to us about the raging war back then between Hamas and Fatah. He's coming to us on Sunday to give us an update of what's happening in Israel, what the peace process is looking like, what democracy is looking like, especially for Israel in light of this past election. We brought him in and booked him well before this last election. I could not predict the timing. but he certainly has a lot to say in terms of democracy in Israel and what's happening between Israel and the Palestinian Authority in terms of a peace process going forward. That is Sunday at 10:30, and it is that time to start RSVPing for Cabaret Night. That's Saturday, January 28th, for the first time in what feels like 3 years, because it's been 3 years. We're coming back to Reitman Hall for our potluck and entertainment for Cabaret Night. RSVP to say you're going to bring something for the potluck, but don't forget it's also BYOB, so make sure you bring something for yourself as well. Thank you. What's that?
And maybe the table next to you.
And maybe the table next to you. If you can find David GJ early enough in the evening, he usually still has some Etrog schnapps left over. I'll bring my bottle as well. Thank you tonight to Barbara Fishman and Dave Schlossberg for the wonderful music that you provided us this evening while the cantor's away on a much-needed vacation. And at the conclusion of our service, we'll join together in Lippman Hall for Kiddush and Motzi and the opportunity to greet one another. Shabbat Shalom again. So as we are here together to celebrate life and living and the miracles of what it means to be alive in this time, we're also mindful of those in our congregation whose lives have become precarious because of health or hospitalization. We remember how fragile life is at the same time. So we pray together. O God of healing in our hearts, we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers together with the prayers of those who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage, and strengthen them the healing powers you place within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care, and may the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and their families. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu hu yavarech et hacholim, u'refuata nefesh u'refuata guf, hashta'a b'ga'alav izman karev v'nomar, Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless those in need of healing. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, as together we say, Amen.
Mishaberach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, Oyevarech v'Rapeh et hacholim. Mishaberach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, Oyevarech v'Rapeh et hacholim.
We continue now on page 282 as we rise in either body or spirit for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, l'teiknu l'yotzei breshit, shelo asan kadei haratzot, velo samar
Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and to old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you can't give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. We think now of those who passed in this month, those whose families are observing Shloshim and still feel the bitter pain of losing a loved one. Remember Doris Dare, wife of Joseph of blessed memory, mother of Michael and Barbara, and grandmother of Eric and Adam. We remember Paula Gladys Curl, sister of Mark of blessed memory, and Marjorie, mother of Tracy and Saul Fink, and grandmother of Adam and Brandon and Morgan. And we remember Florence Schwartz, wife of Sanford of blessed memory, aunt of Stephen and Suzanne Peskin. We think of Sally Shore, wife of Melvin of blessed memory, sister of Milton and Ruth Pat, and Dorothy, mother of Kenneth and Liv, and Anne, and Myron and Howard. And we think of Shelley Weissman, wife of Donald of blessed memory, sister of Hilly and Sue of blessed memory, and aunt of Ellen and Eddie and Joni. And on the Shabbat Eve, we also recall those dear ones who died at this season in years past, whose names we record with love in our service booklet this evening. And their names are forever bound to our hearts and are permanently inscribed throughout our building. And if you're joining us tonight online to say Kaddish for a loved one, I invite you to say their names aloud at home or type their names into our chat. That way we can lift up the names of your loved ones together with you. And if you're here to say Kaddish for a loved one in person, I invite you to say their names as I look around the sanctuary. Zichronam livracha, May all their names and memories only be for a blessing. I invite all the mourners, if able, to rise for Kadisha Tome, Mourner's Kaddish, on page 294. Yit Gadal, Vi Kadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
Bialma Divrach Rute, Viam Lik Malkute, Bechai Echon, Viom Echon, Vchaye de Kol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Vizman Kari Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabba Mivrach, Leolam Malome Almaya, Yit Barach, Vishtabach, Vitpa'ar, Vitromam, Vietnaseh, Vietadar, Vietale, Vietalal, Shemei de Kudashah, Barichu, Leila Min Ko Birchata Vishirata, Tush Bechata Venechamata, Damiran Bialma Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. May the source of peace bestow peace to all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say, Amen.
Oseh Shalom b'maromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imero. Amen. Please rise and join us in our closing song, which will be Ein Kelohenu on page 322. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu, Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu. Mi Kemalkenu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkenu, Mi Kamoshienu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu.
Ein Kelohenu,
Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Moshienu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu,
Bruchim atem b'voachem, bruchim atem b'tzeitachem. Blessed were you when you came into this place. Blessed may you be as you go forth. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.